On today's video, we're going to go through a microscopic inspection of corners, edges, and surfaces of cards so that we can decide what to keep raw and what to grade. I hope you guys enjoy the show.
All right, welcome back. So we are going to go through risk versus reward number 4. Obviously, I've been doing this before, but I guess this is the fourth time I'm doing it in this format for you guys. So quick recap, we're just going to take a look at some cards here that were in slabs, and some are still in slabs, and we're going to show you why we didn't crack certain slabs, and we're going to show you the ones we did crack and what the game plan might be. Ultimately, it's one of those things so you guys can kind of take a look and see what would you do. And this is for Mike overseas. Thank you so much. I know you're one of the reasons, you and Dean Jackson are one of the reasons that I decided to open up a Gmail, and it's been a wonderful idea, so thank you guys for that. I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. Anyways, but let's go ahead and take a look first. We're going to look at the Dwayne Wade. This was a PSA 9, 2003-04 Topps first edition rookie card. And once again, this was a PSA 9, so we're going to take a quick look. Beautiful corner right there. So we're going to go through foundation first, which is basically edges and corners, because that's kind of the staple for PSA. They are, in my opinion, based on data, very strict on these two criteria. More so than the other companies, but we have a very nice corner there too. Edges look great so far. And then the last corner here, we'll take a quick look. Looks fantastic too. So you have 4 beautiful corners. Nice and sharp, 90 degrees, and you have good edges too. So surface, we're going to take a look. Got yourself a little pen tip dimple. Naked eye wise, you can see it too. So it's little, but it's there. Very likely reason it's got a PSA 9. This is clean so far otherwise. And I'll kind of give you guys my thoughts and stuff after we check out the rest of the card. But so far, that's literally the only particular flaw that's notable. We got another pixel issue, so that's also another pit. You can see that. It kind of blends right in, but you can tell it's almost like another pen tip dimple there. It's not what they're actually called. That's my own made up thing, just because that's what it reminds me of. But outside of that, beautiful clean surface. Foil looks fantastic too. No scratches, no breaks, nothing like that. So pretty darn good. Backside, we're going to go here. This corner looks really, really nice. Edges are pretty darn smooth. They're not perfect. There's very minor chips. Nice right corner as well. We got some marks or dirt or something on the back. Let's wipe that down too. But got a little bit of debris on the back. Extra debris. Let's just do a quick yellow cloth here. There we go. Had a little debris on the back that could have contributed to a 9. And then we got this down here, another fiber. Back corner, that looks good too. Almost skipped it just by talking. That looks good too. And then we got the left side. The edges are pretty good. They got a minor chip right there, but that's minimal. That's basically microscopic at this point. Usually not enough to give you a 9 because of something like that. I'm looking for imbalances in the light too. But overall, I would tell you that this card, because of these little random pen tip dimples, there's one tiny one in the back, and of course the front we saw too, and I can see a little issue with this edge. Let's see if we can spot it up here. Maybe just right here. You can see how the light kind of reflects funky. Tells you there's a little bit of an imbalance there. So I would tell you this card, realistically speaking, if I were to send it anywhere, I'd probably go SGC, just because they are a little bit more lenient on these types of issues. And that's not just an opinion, that's just like the data collected. So if I were you, if you send it back to PSA, you're likely getting a 9 again. If you decide to go a different route and try SGC, you might be able to get a bump. I'd say 9 or higher with SGC. Likely higher, but totally up to you. Next one is a Skylights MJ. This is from, was it 1993, maybe? This was, you told me you had bought it in a CSG 10. You sent it to PSA. They gave you an 8. Kind of looked under the hood, and we know why, but we'll take a look and see if it's worth sending over to SGC. So the front looked pretty good from what I remember as far as the corners go through the slab. And this is the first look raw, but you got a little touch of white on that corner. So that's the maximum PSA 9 to begin with. But once again, depends where you go. SGC could be friendlier. And I say could because it's not always. They're like Beckett, they're like PSA, just there's little inconsistencies with all these companies in terms of following their own criteria. We've had a couple that we sent back in slab to Beckett just to replace a cracked slab, and they won't do it because they said they can't honor the grade they gave it. And now it's amazing. I giggled. But surface-wise, this is not too bad. There might be a couple little print issues right here. 1, 2. And we had that top corner or bottom corner on the front. That corner is fine. The edge has some just a little rough cut. This one obviously a little rough as well, but it does bleed into the surface. So that's something that does take away from the grade. Then we got the rest of the edges pretty good so far on the right side. Bottom corner you can see plenty of edge wear along with corner wear. That's why you see the white. And we got this side. Same thing. Little touch of white right there. So a card that I wouldn't send back to PSA. You could probably likely get an 8 again. However, if you want to try SGC, you could potentially get a little bit of a better grade. So totally up to you. And CSG, it just depends, guys, on what labels. We've had quite a bit of success crossing over even CSG 9s that were in the green labels. But once they switched over to black and gave everything 10s that were once 9.5s with a subgrade that wasn't ideal, that's when some of the grades started like kerplunking as far as when people were trying to cross over. So keep that in mind. All right, next one here is the, I think 94, 95. No, 95, 96 EXL. This is the blue Michael Jordan. This was in a SGC 10. Looked pretty good in slab, so we decided to crack it out and see. But let's check it out. So beautiful corner, very nice edge, nice blue border too. So anything that's chipped will stick out like a sore thumb. But as you can see, it's kind of incredibly nice. This one, that's not on the blue edge, that's on the back side, so that's extra fiber. So that should be okay. And that doesn't look too bad. With these cards that are framed, I always check the inner edge as well, just because it's almost like a whole nother set of issues potentially sometimes. That's why those 96, 97 EX cards, EX 2000, there's a lot of window issues typically. So, but foundation looks great on this card. Surface actually looks pretty darn good too. It's nice and bold, nothing major. You got a little bit of a little white mark you can see right there, but naked eye wise, it's not visible. And once again, the scope isn't used to grade the cards. The scope is used to see flaws so that I can see if I can actually spot them. And that's the biggest thing. Because if you see it on the scope, not too big of a deal, but if I pull it out and I can see it with the naked eye or even with like a 2x lens, that's where you have an issue. So far not too bad. This corner's probably not my favorite, but it's not a bad corner. You can see right there the light imbalance tells you it just doesn't lay flat. It's not technically wrinkled or anything like that. But once again, SGC, it kind of shows you a little bit that they have some leniency in areas some other companies don't. But still, I would tell you have probably a 50-50 shot at this, because outside of that, this is really, really clean. That's not technically corner like damage. It's not dinged or anything like that. The extra fibers you see are just from a rough cut. So I would tell you good luck. But if your expectations are set on a 9, you're not going to be disappointed. But you could be surprised with the 10. We'll see. I don't see it going down at all, not based on anything I see as far as flaws go. Next one here is the Metal Shredders Jordan 96-97. This is not the Precious, but this was in a BGS 9. So we do have a good corner. We have a slight chipping on the top edge over there. This one, same thing. You can see that corner issue. And BGS is really hard to see through their slabs. They have the extra sleeve, and their slabs are already cloudy to begin with. Third corner here, also a little bit of wear. and fourth corner here. You can see where the chipping is. 2 spots right at the tip of the corner and a little to the right of that, but clean left edge. So let's check it out. Surface wise, we're just looking for issues in terms of missing foil pieces. It's a textured foil, so you're not really going to find scratches outside of anything on the player unless it's incredibly deep. It's kind of like the Pokemon trainer cards nowadays. There's usually no scratches just because there's not enough flat surface to scratch anything. Unless someone did it intentionally and it was deep. So, surface here looks good. All the pieces of the foil are there. Don't see any scratches or even any kind of like thumbprints or any kind of hand issues as far as like prints from the hand. Backside, we'll double check. Beautiful left corner. That's very nice, especially for this set. Nice top edge. Right side, this corner, small touch of white. Minor edge issues, very minor, minimal. Bottom right corner looks fantastic through and through. You see a little pit right here. You can see that. Another one of those pen tip dimples. They kind of sneak by you. And that one looks good. Left edge looks really nice. Outside of that, no other dimples. But this is a card that I would, once again, if you were to grade this, I'd send it to SGC. PSA is going to be a little bit harsher on this one for sure. Between the corner issues as far as paper loss and that little pen tip dimple, PSA might kind of lower the grade and hold entire grade, to be honest with you. But SGC, I think you'll be on par. Maybe pleasantly surprised, but I'd expect probably a 9 from SGC as well. Maybe better, not sure. They're kind of a wild card with that. So next we're going to look at the ones that we did not crack. This is the Electrified Jordan Mint 9. So as you guys can see, it's got a beautiful corner there. Beautiful corner here as well. I have to tilt this sideways, but nice edge, dirty slab, and that's your 9 right there. So that's why we're not cracking it, just because once again I mentioned with PSA they're pretty tough on corners. I have seen some cards get away with a small nick of white, but they're usually not sports. They're like Star Wars or something like that for some reason. So that's why we kept this one in slab. Next one is the Jordan SGC 10, Skybox 1990-91. One of my favorite sets growing up. But this one, the front looks pretty damn good, to be honest with you, and I'll show you the reason that I would keep this one in the slab here when we get to the back, based on what I remember. Also, the front, you can see, you got that's just debris, though, so it's on the slab, not on the card, just because you can see the shadow, so you're okay there. So I can wipe it off. There you go. But nice corners, as you can see. Beautiful edges on this card overall on the front side. So what I did notice on the back is this mark right here. You can see how it's got the light that shines through. It's not like a print defect. It looks like a potential small indentation just from the way it kind of reflects. So this is why we left that card. Also left this card in the slab. Also a little hair. Kind of just show up everywhere. But that is the reason for this card, because outside of that it's pretty damn clean. But the reality is this going to PSA is going to hurt the grade. So leaving this one in slab. Last but not least, we have the 92-93 Topps Stadium Club Jordan. One of my favorite photos where he's like, looks like he's palming Patrick Ewing's head. But we'll take a quick look. Like this has a small nick of white you can see on that corner. This doesn't go perfectly 90 degrees. Once again, it's not like you can't get away with it. You just don't want to bank on it. That corner actually looks pretty decent. Double check this side. There is a little bit, and I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but how white it is right there when there's supposed to be a bunch of circles. It's not part of the art. It's just missing a small piece of pixelation that tells you there's a little bit of wear. Right corner looks beautiful. And this last corner too, you can see it's a little bit touch of white. And that's why I say, like, when we don't send cards to PS, or we don't send cards to PSA that have these issues, but you can still send them to SGC typically for the best grade possible. They're not always going to give you a 10, but we've seen enough cases to where they do, where it's pretty much a pretty controlled risk. Very low risk as far as if you have minor issues. So that is something to kind of streamline. I know a lot of people just go to PSA because of maximum returns, but the reality is there's a lot of cards that are left on the table. People would rather sell them raw and sometimes lose money than actually even just grade with SGC, just because you don't see the value there. But you can see there's another white corner there. And that one's not bad. So overall, we got a couple white tip corners on this card too. And that's an SGC 10. So what would you guys do? Leave comments. Feel free to email me if you have questions, obviously, at frostyfeetcards@gmail.com. Mike, after you see this, let me know what you want to do. Obviously, you can just email me your results or your questions, I should say, and then we'll kind of go from there. But I appreciate everyone. Thank you so much just for this opportunity. If I can help you in any way, once again, I will get to you guys whenever you message me, and we'll go from there. So thanks again. Have a good one.
Feet cards, yeah, we keep it tight. Willie Mays, Clemente, we shining so bright. Sandy Pro Facts, Hank Aaron legends never die. As we reveal the grades, we reach for the sky.